Joining us now, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. Okay, Senator, none of that makes any sense. OPEC Plus, led by Saudi Arabia, now the world swing producer instead of us, just put the screws to Biden and company and us, broadly speaking, and we're handing money to China because of this green energy pursuit. What say you, sir?
Dagan, it's honestly laughable. I mean, it's no smiling factor, but I can't help but smile because you sit there and you think, does Biden actually believe what he's saying? Because just think about since his administrations came in office, he cut 800,000 barrels a day coming in from Canada off the Keystone Pipeline by canceling the permit on that. He's cut production in public lands well over 1 million barrels per day. And when you start talking about the slow walking of permits that he's doing right now and the way he's turned down the volume that we can move product from point A to point B with crude natural gas in our pipeline system, it equates over to 2.5 million barrels per day. This 1.7 million per day wouldn't even be a hiccup if we were still on the path that Trump had us on to energy independence. Instead, we are now dependent on the cartel in Saudi Arabia, who just made an economic deal with Iran, by the way, who's not a friend of ours, and Russia. They're laughing all the way to the bank at our expense because we have an incompetent president in the White House.
Yeah, Markwayne, I want to switch gears with you. The Pentagon refusing to confirm a new report that the Chinese spy balloon was able to collect data on sensitive military sites and transmit that data back to China in real time. Listen to this.
Did you know at the time that they were able to transmit back in real time to Beijing?
Well, I wouldn't be able to say that they were able to transmit back to Beijing. We just don't have, I just don't have that type of information at this point.
How confident are you that the mitigation measures that you took actually worked?
The mitigation efforts that we put into place had little additive value for the PRC.
Markwayne, what's your take on the response?
Well, Sean, as you know, I sat on Intel before I came on to SCOTUS for the Senate Armed Services. And since we've been on Senate Armed Services, we've been getting briefings on this constantly because this is a big DOD matter. Without question, they were transmitting. We already knew that. The question is, was it real time or was it delayed? It doesn't make any difference. We know that they were going over sensitive areas. We know that they're performing figure eights over military areas, which is either missile sites or directly over sites of training, not specifically over bases. But they're also tracing a major pipeline that comes in from Alaska down to the lower 48s all the way into Houston. And they were following that pipeline because I believe they were wanting to know exactly where it ran. There's pipes in the ground that have maps. But during the time they were going to, they had also infrared sensors on it to where the heat coming off of it during the winter would show a clear area where it was at. And it was also able to pick up Wi-Fi signals. Why that is important, Sean, is because every one of the gates, the valves, all are controlled remotely with a Wi-Fi signal. If they're able to disrupt this major supply line coming from Alaska, they're able to disrupt our economy because our economy runs on energy. And since we're not producing very much in the lower 48s, we're relying on more and more being shipped in and coming in from Alaska. And it's all because of the Biden administration's weakness on foreign policy, knowing that they wouldn't do anything about it, and the economy that they have created here, which is based on inflation because of the energy they're cutting.
And it's all connected, Senator. It's 100%. All connected. That Biden's weakness to empower and enrich our enemies has created a new axis of China.
Yeah, Dagan, it absolutely weakens me and sickens me at the same time, because not only are we dependent on them for, let's say, the chip, to which if they take over Taiwan, we'll be 100% dependent on them, but we're also dependent on them through antibiotics. There isn't any antibiotics, and I know this is going a little bit off the rail, but there isn't any antibiotics made within the United States anymore. The majority of our antibiotics come from China. So if, God forbid, we were to get in a conflict, we can't even treat simple infections anymore. And now the energy to which we had a leg up on China, because China doesn't have natural gas and petroleum, we are becoming more dependent on their allies, because of the deals that they're making across the world why our own commander-in-chief is sitting back here twiddling his thumbs and not believing in peace through strength. Instead, he believes in appeasement. It is sickening for us. And the United States, the people of the United States need to wake up.
Thank you.
Markwayne Mullin, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you guys.
You as well.